Today, I have a question for you. What was your personal game of the year? Not gaming media's favorite games. Your favorite game of 2024. There are literally thousands of games that are released every year. There's no way that we would collectively agree upon the same 5 or 6 titles for Game of the Year. So I'm looking for hot takes and real opinions because I know you've got them. I have to believe that there's someone out there whose Game of the Year was maybe a shmup that shadow dropped in the last days of December. Or maybe your Game of the Year was a rhythm game that's constantly updated. Maybe you played a Metroidvania for the first time and now it's your favorite genre. What was your Game of the Year? Let us know in the comments. As for me, I'd like to shine a spotlight on a couple of my favorite games of 2024 because these titles were definitely underappreciated and sadly overlooked. And by the end of the video, I suppose I will crown one of them my personal Game of the Year. My first pick is Angel at Dusk. Hear me out. Angel of Dusk is a shmup with an HR Giger-like aesthetic. It forgoes the typical spaceships shooting other spaceships formula for something more visceral and primal. Everything from the popcorn enemies to boss character designs look like Google image search results for biblically accurate angels. By the way, can we just appreciate how much detail is in the animation of these character sprites? Just look at this. It's squirming. It's wriggling. This thing definitely isn't ship.png in the game files. And before I dig into the gameplay, let me tell you right off the bat that Angel at Dusk has one of the best tutorials in a shmup. If you're curious and were looking to get into shmups, this is the perfect introduction to the genre. The fundamental knowledge that you'll take away from this tutorial will carry over into other games. It's that good. And as a final test, you'll even be rewarded with a full playable level with its own boss fight to test the skills that you've just learned. Now, about the gameplay. I'm going to be saying this a lot about the games I enjoy, but I can describe every game that I like in 3 words. It's just fun. Angel at Dusk rewards you for playing aggressively. This is not a shmup that expects you to just stay at the bottom half of the screen for the entirety of your playthrough. There's no contact damage, meaning that running into the enemy will not damage you. Also, there's a stamina bar which continually fills up and rewards you with extra lives. So basically, if you play aggressively, you will level up more frequently, and the longer you survive, the more lives you will earn during your run. Speaking of playing aggressively, in Angel at Dusk, you don't have to feel overwhelmed by the enemy's barrage of attacks. You have a tool to mitigate them. Angel at Dusk has secondary weapons which allow you to eliminate enemy bullets. Now, to prevent players from simply spamming these weapons as a sort of de facto built-in easy mode, not all bullets are cancelable. Plus, most of the secondary weapons lose their ability to cancel bullets after a brief period of usage. Shmups are meant to be played over and over again, and Angel at Dusk is no exception. It boasts a high replay value with its various game modes and a wide variety of character/weapon choices. There's a short 5-stage story mode, just the right length for a shmup. There's a much longer 32-stage chronicle mode in which you can choose your own path, earn random weapons along the way, and even permanently upgrade your character. There is a boss challenge mode in which you can challenge each boss individually or as part of a boss rush gauntlet. And while most shmups feature an average of 3 ships and shot types per game, Angel at Dusk, once everything is unlocked, touts a whopping 19 selectable angels, each with their own unique combinations of shot types, secondary weapons, and even bombs and hyper beams. There are even overpowered characters that make you feel like you're unlocking an infinite rocket launcher in a Resident Evil game, and there are underpowered characters without the ability to destroy bullets. I assume that's for you to truly put your skills to the test. You're bound to find something to your liking in this selection. Lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Angel at Dusk has some of the best quality of life options around. It gives you the option to change the colors of the game's text, text boxes, the glow around your character sprite, and most importantly, the glow around enemy bullets. Bullet visibility can make or break a shmup, so I was pleasantly surprised to see these types of quality of life options in the game. So, with its symbiosis of its unique aesthetic and presentation, aggressive and rewarding gameplay, high replay value, and quality of life options, Angel at Dusk provides a shmup experience that's inherently more fun than frustrating. In case you were a little weirded out by the visuals of that last pick, here's your palate cleanser. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is a fun and flashy JRPG, and it's anime as fuck. The game was initially announced as a collaboration between Cygames and Platinum Games way back in 2016. Through its rocky development, Platinum actually bowed out at some point, leaving many fans to question the quality and state of the game upon its release. In case you don't know, Cygames is known for mobile gacha games, and Platinum Games is known for giving us some pretty big titles in the gaming sphere. They're responsible for games that outshine others from their combat alone. The Bayonetta franchise, and one of my favorite games of all time, Nier Automata, are among their body of work. Despite the fact that Platinum Games left the project, let me assure you that their fingerprints are all over Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. It's just fun. And let me get this off my chest right now before I go on, but incoming hot take, this game is what I wished that Final Fantasy XIV and Monster Hunter were. The combat in this game is smooth, fluid, and so satisfying. There are a multitude of combat mechanics which all synergize perfectly with each other. There are link attacks which can build up and eventually activate link time, which slows down the action, classic Platinum, and significantly reduces cooldown for all skills and abilities. This is one of many instances in which the game encourages you to go all out. There are super moves known as skybound arts that you can link together with at least one other character in your party, or all of them for a full burst, which deals a ton of damage. Big numbers go brrrr. In Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, the ebb and flow of a boss fight is primarily dictated by the overdrive meter. As you attack a boss character, this overdrive meter continually builds. Once the meter is filled, the boss enters a sort of rage mode, which requires you to play more defensively as they unleash a barrage of stronger attacks. But fear not, because once that meter is depleted, a break occurs and the boss enters a staggered state. This is your chance to go all out and deal as much damage as possible. Again, big numbers go boo. Now, this would be all for naught if you didn't have fun characters to play as in this sandbox of intertwining combat systems. Well, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink boasts a massive roster of 22 different characters, each with their own unique mechanics. Now, no one on the roster is simply either just a melee or just a ranged character. When I say that everybody has a unique mechanic, I mean it. For example, Rosetta has the ability to plant 3 roses anywhere on the battlefield, which deal damage to the enemy and grant various buffs to your party. Sandalphon has a gauge that, once filled, allows you to go into Archangel mode, giving you access to a completely different and more powerful set of attacks and skills. Narmaya can freely switch between 2 different stances, and if you utilize her moveset correctly, you can practically combo into and out of those stances seamlessly. These are just a few examples of the wide variety of playstyles and mechanics that you'll find in the roster. Lastly, and this could be a positive or a negative depending on how you feel about it, but almost every single obtainable or craftable item in Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is random. Aside from a few first-time bonuses, no drops are guaranteed, so there's always something to grind towards. There are literally 4, 5, maybe even 6 different screens in which you can level up your weapon. That's not hyperbole. Literally. Your ideal build is this white whale that you might never even catch a glimpse of. But on the other hand, if you're into theory crafting and experimenting with different builds, you'll love this aspect of the game. There are sigils to equip onto your character. There are right stones to equip onto your weapons. There are randomized mastery bonuses. And all of this is for the sole purpose of boosting your stats to astronomical levels. Big numbers go brrr. So, if you're looking for a flashy JRPG with dynamic combat, with plenty of character variety, and unique mechanics that synergize well with each other, please give Grand Blue Fantasy Relink a shot.
This is great! And all I've done is enter my name! Thrill House!
If I had made a video like this for 2023, the early access version of this next title would have been my game of the year. Blaze Blue Entropy Effect is a roguelite which features the characters and signature movesets from the Blaze Blue fighting game franchise. Now this is something that I wish more fighting game franchises had the guts to try. It's just fun. A typical run in Blaze Blue Entropy Effect consists of 5 stages, each with their own set number of spaces. So what's in a space? Spaces can have enemy encounters. There are spaces that can help you during your run, like refill some of your HP or give you healing items. But most importantly, there are several types of spaces that require a high risk, high reward trade-off, which could either throw a monkey wrench into your plans or tip the scales in your favor. For example, there's a black market space in which you can permanently sacrifice a portion of your HP bar in exchange for various, sometimes game-breaking, rewards. Speaking of high-risk, high-reward trade-offs, before a run on hard difficulty, you're able to set several self-imposed difficulty options. These entropy effects make your run more difficult, but they grant better rewards for it. If you've played Hades, it's pretty much the heat system. Your offense during a run consists of 3 things: potentials, tactics, and legacy abilities. Potentials are the most important as they add more abilities to your moveset. Plus, there are hidden effects activated by certain combinations of potentials. Tactics are more or less passive effects, like the ability to inflict a poison status onto the enemy, or generating slimes that help you damage nearby enemies, and so forth. Legacy abilities are actually selected at the start of your run. You select 2 characters from your previous playthroughs and inherit sort of mini super moves and some passives as well. Now, I cannot stress this enough, but the synergy between your potentials and tactics should not be overlooked. This is the key to some completely broken builds. So pay attention to those in-game descriptions, and before you know it, you'll be shredding enemies left and right, or, like me during one of my runs with Rachel, infinite air dashing until the final boss dies. Lastly, of the 3 games that I've mentioned in this video, Blaze Blue Entropy Effect is the only one of them that is getting constant updates. During the editing of this video, the game was even updated with a brand new boss fight and 2 new playable characters. It recently celebrated its 1-year anniversary, and the future for this game is looking bright. So that's my short list of my favorite games in 2024 that were definitely overlooked and underappreciated. I love shmups, and I'm so tired of seeing spaceships shooting other spaceships, so Angel at Dusk immediately caught my eye. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is the fun, flashy JRPG that I wish Final Fantasy XIV or Monster Hunter was. And Blaze Blue Entropy Effect brought us a unique take and experience by bringing fighting game characters into a roguelite. If I had to choose just one of these games to crown as Game of the Year for 2024, I would have to give it to Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. It's just... Thank you for watching if you got this far. Please let us know in the comments what your game of the year was. And if you found this entertaining, please like and subscribe. Signing off, this is Brian of FaceTime Police. We are a band and we do a lot of variety content. This is Rambo. By the way, we're going to be making a game someday, most likely a shmup. So if you know of an artist with a chibi/anime aesthetic, please hit us up. Thanks for watching.